Hey everybody, welcome to Heaven and Health YouTube channel. I have my co-host here with me, Terri Hutchinson from Anchored Not Anxious podcast. And today we are talking about emotional health. And this is something that a lot of times people struggle with. So I really, really wanted her to come on and share this topic. So we're talking about cognitive behavioral therapy, which can help emotional issues. Um, and so, Terri, take us through a little bit. What are the benefits of CBT, cognitive behavioral uh, therapy? What are the
Yes.
benefits?
CBT, you might often hear it referred to as that. It helps you see the connection between thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Each influences the other. And CBT identifies unhelpful thinking patterns, distorted or dysfunctional thought processing, and out of balance emotions. And this allows you to reflect on, challenge, reshape thoughts and feelings that will work for you and not against you. CBT is not, it's not a denial of negative experiences or thoughts and emotions. It's not get happy therapy. It's not distraction or unrealistic reassurance. And it's not a quick fix. It takes time to pave new thought pathways and new thought strategies. So it takes time to dig up the root of that dysfunctional thought. So, because those old thought patterns are just like they're grooved in to our brain. So now you have to carve new pathways of thinking and responding to your emotions.
Right. That sounds awesome. And there's so many people in that situation where something came up and it's emotional and they don't know what to do. And I think a lot of times that's what people are thinking is I just need to deny that I'm in an emotional state. I have to just suck it up and do. But there are real things. So how exactly does this work?
So this is just a quick version, very simplified, but you review your core beliefs about yourself or an event. Uh, a core belief is generally what generates the thoughts and the feelings and our behaviors. And then you're going to challenge those core beliefs and thoughts and feelings that create anxiety, worry, fear. These hold you back. They tell you you can't. Um, they're it can even be a shaming dialogue. And so, what you're going to do is once you identify a core belief that you don't feel is working on your behalf, you're going to look for evidence that contradicts the unhelpful and destructive thoughts and emotions. And there's a variety of worksheets and books that can help you. So, for instance, it's called the What Me Worry Workbook. And
I
it's
love that title.
I know. And it's for it comes out of the Australian Health Ministry. It's online, it's free. It has various worksheets that you can do. This is the helpful thinking diary. And just I have used this and it is very beneficial. There's also another book that you can purchase, and it's called the CBT Toolbox. And it's a workbook for clients. That would be you, a patient, clinicians, or coaches. But it really breaks down how, what CBT is, how it can help you, and walks you through some of the exercises that does the things I said, challenges, analyzes, look, you develop evidence for and against that core belief, and things like that.
Awesome, awesome. So, do you have an example from your own life that you can share so that we can see how this plays out?
Girlfriend, I have lots of examples. That's why I know so much about it. But yes, not long ago, my sister-in-law was going daily to cancer treatments. That was about an hour from her home. So her daughter, my niece, came in from Iowa and brought her 70-pound anxious poodle, highly anxious poodle. And so my niece was going to drive her mother to the cancer treatments, and I was going to keep Jelly Bean. At the same time, I had my dad here. So he's 90, and he was living with us for 6 months. Just before my dad came, my husband was diagnosed with left-sided heart failure and was scheduled to have an internal cardiac defibrillator installed. And so I was, sort of fretting about what all
A
that meant
lot.
for us, you know. And then of course I had Stella, our own dog. Uh, and then in the background, I was still concerned because my sister had lost her job and I knew she didn't have health insurance. She might lose her home.
Oh
And I
gosh.
was wondering about what if we can't share the care of dad? And so obviously, all of this created anxiety, and I started having panic attacks uh, because I'd started to get on emotional overload as I thought about this person and that person and that person. And I finally broke down and went to a therapist, a licensed therapist. And I remember telling her, I feel like I should be able to handle all this, but I can't. I feel like it should be enough just to care for my husband, taking him to cardiology, caring for the dogs, and my dad. And I hate to say this, but I don't want to care about my sister and my sister-in-law because as soon as I start taking that on, I feel like I'm going under, I'm drowning. And that's when my therapist introduced the concept of care capacity and that we only have a limited amount. And she understood why I felt like I was drowning. And so what happened was, I looked at the core belief that said, I have to manage all this. I have to care for everyone at the exponential level. And and the core belief that if I don't care, then I'm a horrible person. And in the
Mm.
meantime, I leaned into God and I made space to connect and get grounded. But it was working through the challenging my beliefs and looking for evidence that contradicted those destructive beliefs and reframing everything so that I can move forward and be present for the person that I was in front of at that time instead of being in all this chaotic emotional tornado. So the bottom line is, cognitive behavioral therapy may sound daunting and serious. We always think, well, that's for somebody with bipolar or schizophrenic issues, but it's for you and me. It's for you and me. It's amazingly helpful. And it redirected me on a better thought and emotional path.
Yeah, because it's a lot to deal with. I mean, if you have one or two things that's going on in your life, that's overwhelming enough. But when you have more things, and then you beat yourself up for thinking, I should be able to do all of this. Why can't I'm a bad person because I'm not able to do all of this stuff? And that just makes whatever you're going through even more difficult. And you're thinking it shouldn't be hard, it shouldn't be a problem, and I'm making more of it, and I'm a bad person because I'm not there for these people. I'm not there for this situation that needs to happen. And so that is overwhelming more so than just everything you're dealing with. It's what you're putting in your head about you. It's what you're telling yourself about you. So those going through those things, and thank you for those resources for people that are going through a lot of stuff. That is some really great resources to be able to work through this. And maybe you don't need a therapist to help you with that, but maybe you do. But maybe you do. So we like to leave everybody with a challenge for you to start thinking about how do you implement some of the things that Terry and I are teaching each week. And so the first thing that I want to have Terry share before we close is, what is your challenge for this week?
Well, I think the challenge is to identify a core belief that you think is holding you back. And it's going to take time. Listen to what you're saying to yourself because that'll give you clues. But try to figure out what that core belief is. And then I want you to search for evidence to contradict it. Search for evidence that says it's not true. And then evaluate that after a time. It could take you, maybe 3 days, a week, couple weeks. But I think that if you try this, you may be able to put yourself on a new pathway um, of moving forward.
That's awesome. And we love to leave you with things that you can do to move yourself forward in the four pillars of health that we have identified, that kind of, and they all go together. Because if you are emotionally healthy, then you have a much better chance of having all the other three pillars healthy as well. And I'll be back next week to talk about physical health, something new coming up on physical health. Thank you so much, Terry, for being here and for
Thank
helping us
you.
through this. Just love your expertise and how you explain everything. We will be back next week. Let us know in the comments how you've done that and how that's helped for you. Talk to you soon.